Hi, and welcome back to the studio track. It is time for a wrap-up session, where I'm joined by my co-host Samuel and the top dog of Kannabhiran, Lead Dog. Thank you so much, Dhillon, for joining us for a wrap-up session.
Oh, please, it's my pleasure, man. Like, you guys have been running an awesome studio for the last 2 days. Can't complain, man.
Well, thank you for the first time doing it. I think we made it work in true Hack in the Box spirit.
Most definitely, bro. Most definitely. I mean, there was a reason why we chose you to be the master host, because you've known us for the longest time. I mean, from 2003 practically, right? Or even maybe earlier, right?
2003 is when we started discussing, and then I think my first was 2005, Hack in the Box.
Really?
Yes.
I always keep remembering it as 2003, 2004, somewhere around there.
We were definitely in touch during that.
Yeah, right.
And I used to come to Malaysia for doing other instructional stuff for the Malaysian powers that were.
Yeah, that were.
The powers that were. And we used to always bump into each other.
Yeah.
It was great times.
It goes to show how long it's been, right?
It's been a while, and it's been a great ride. So, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted you in the studio. We spent 2 days talking to friends, old and new. We've had some great memories, great thoughts shared, and we wanted to wrap it up in style with the man himself.
Thanks.
Let's have you just take us down Hack in the Box lane.
Oh, man. Like, how much time do we have?
It's your show. All the time you need.
It might take a while.
We have a time machine.
I mean, we've had so many adventures over the years. You know what I mean? When we started out in Malaysia, we had this vision and this kind of like goal, really, of reproducing what we saw in the States, what we saw at Black Hat and Epcot, right? And it was costing us an insane amount of money to travel there, and it was just too expensive. We thought, how hard can it be? And here we are, many years later, and it turns out it's not that easy.
No, but not that hard, not that impossible either.
Exactly. But the main thing that I've always said is that as long as it's still fun, you keep doing it, right?
Exactly.
And it feels like what we've been doing over the last couple of years, the consistency of that energy, right, that we get from the volunteers and from the crew and from the folks that come, and we see the looks on their faces when they're hacking stuff and getting excited about it. We were once those guys, right?
Yes.
That were looking on the internet and like, oh, look, check it out, it's like Doug song stuff, and wanting to be able to meet them.
Yeah.
And now we see these younger guys coming. It's like, oh man, it's Samuel Shah, it's Opera Arkin, right? It's Gavin Diskin, it's all these really cool guys that make up the security industry. And so that's really what pushes me to continue to do it, is because I still see that a lot of people actually appreciate it, right? And they kind of like understand what we're trying to do is not easy, but it makes it worth it when you see the reactions.
Indeed. I have great memories of Hack the Box. So let's do this, right? Let's just start from some of the earliest aha moments, you and I. And
okay.
In no particular order, probably things that worked spectacularly well, and then things where things went spectacularly haywire.
Well, I can probably remember more of the haywire ones than I can of the like spectacularly well, because whenever anything goes mediumly well, we're like, oh, thank God, everything worked out fine.
Right.
Because, there's always been times when we were like, will we make it through this? You know what I mean? Even in the first year, I think, when we were with Dr. D, Dinesh Nair, back in the day, right?
I miss him.
Exactly, right? I mean, we had some adventures.
He wasn't Dr. D then.
He was always Dr. D, but he never really used that handle. He was always like, I'm not sure I should say it, but his handle is like alpha something with a letter,
something,
right?
So the letter that comes.
The letter that comes, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, we've had some really awesome adventures, man. I think like the first time we went to Bahrain in 2004, or was that 2005? And then, a year or two after that, we were in Dubai. So many good memories, man. So many good memories. Trekking into the desert. Remember that time we went into the desert and we were like...
The desert where the grug nearly passed out.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think there's many conferences where he's nearly passed out. So, I kind of lost track. Which
this
event was
without
that?
him consuming anything.
Yeah, it's probably due to the heat, right? Like, I mean, it's desert, right? What do you expect?
The dune bashing.
Yeah. I remember that.
We were thinking like, why is he not making a single sound? Usually it is impossible for the grug to stay silent. Like, it's been 30 minutes since he's spoken. He's like, Oh,
I see.
Let's go home, man. We're done here.
It's time to call this a
wrap.
wrap.
That was the year of the ash cloud.
Oh, yeah.
That was the year of the ash cloud. I think that was the
cloud,
single most unusual event that I can recall.
Yeah.
What I took away from that was that H in HITB stands for hospitality. You saw everything through it. Did not matter that there were just 8 people out there.
Yeah.
You had the parties. You treated everybody the way they should have been. No cutting corners. You lost a metric ton of money.
Oh my God.
But that's the spirit that I took away with. And I was like telling my friends, like, this is what commitment means. This is what it means to take care of your own.
Thanks,
take
bro.
care of yourself.
Thanks. I mean, the way I look at it is that folks have taken time, energy to make the trip over, right? Very similar to this year as well. I mean, it's such uncertain times that we are in right now. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, right? Like a week ago, Amsterdam was all fine and well.
Yeah.
Now it looks like it might go back into lockdown, right? Like, so things changed, but people actually made the effort to come. And I remember Laurent Odo, he drove like from France to God knows where to make the trip over because flights were cancelled.
Yeah.
But he did it. And we owe it to him to give him that Hack in the Box experience, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, people took their time to come, right? To deliver a talk, like even if it's just an hour. It takes effort, energy to prepare it, right? The least you can do is host them as if it was you. How would you like to be treated?
Right.
And that's what I always say. Is if we try to make it that it's family, we always call it the Hack in the Box family, right?
That's what brings me back all the time. And the family grows larger every time I'm here.
It is growing slightly larger. Yes.
But I mean, I'll rock off the plane, jet lagged. Before I even come and put the baggage in the room, first stop is the secretary.
Yeah.
It may be 1 a.m. There's always somebody there.
There's always somebody there.
And
Maybe until 4 or 5.
When you walk in, it's not like, oh shit, it's the end of the day. Like, please, can you leave me alone? It's like, hi, welcome, bright smiles. You sit for a while, you talk, have a Coke or something.
Yes.
Then you may or may not log on to the hotel network. You'll never know. But then you kind of go back to the room and, sleep happy.
Yeah.
And then the next day begins. So this type of hospitality I have not seen in other events through all these years. It's always been seamless. You're part of the crew, part of the ship, everything.
Because it takes all of us to make it happen, right? Like, I mean, let's be honest, right? It's not just like, we're the organizers, so, answer to us. But if a speaker doesn't show up, if the speaker is not feeling well, if the speaker is not at his best, it doesn't make us look good either, right?
Yeah.
So we're all in it together, as in every single person that showed up here played a role, played a part, no matter how small. Even if they're a volunteer that just, I used to say, like, if you're the guy that's just pulling the network cables, you might feel like that's like an inconsequential job, but somebody's got to do it, right?
And without that cable,
there's no internet.
Won't happen.
Exactly. So everybody who's played a part in Hack in the Box, no matter big or small, deserves to be treated right. And that's it. It's just plain and simple. But maybe it could be a Malaysian hospitality thing. I don't know.
I mean, also the Dutch have been,
of course, no doubt,
wonderfully.
No doubt.
First experience at Amsterdam was because I'd been to Black Hat Europe before, and it's like, okay, great. It's also the Krasnopolski again, and those are old memories. But a very, very different vibe came out. It was like, okay, this is Malaysia once again, and then Holland goes to Malaysia, Malaysia goes to Holland, and this was like, it became a part of my life, my annual life, twice a year. A Hack in the Box was featured. I'd forgotten about it in these Corona times, but things all coming back.
Yeah.
It's all coming back. Let's make sure it stays this way.
Yeah, fingers crossed, man.
Fingers crossed. Dhillon, would you want to give a shout out to anyone?
Well, I would say I want to give out a shout out to the crew as always. I always say, like, I'm the guy who just answers the emails, right? Whenever people email us, I'm the guy who answers the emails. But the folks that actually produce the show and make it what it is, it's not me, man. It's like, usually I always say when it comes closer to the conference, I'm quite free, stressed but quite free, and it's all the rest of the guys that actually deserve the credit, right? So it's the Dutch crew, the Malaysian crew, like Liang, Weng, Daryl, Amy, Sherry, I'm going to forget some names, obviously, Yako, Derek, all the CTF guys from Russia, like Hackerdom, everybody who has come, those are the guys that need the credit. So I always say, if you see them at another conference, buy them a beer, because, they're the guys, man. Like, without them, none of this would be possible. I would just be answering emails and nothing would have happened. So.
It's cool. Thanks again, Cherry. Thank you so much for doing this together. I first accepted Dhillon's request, like, hey, would you want to be the host? And my idea was like, we're going to walk over and, take the camera here and there and show the thing around. We quickly had to improvise, and it was awesome to improvise. And, I think we just made the whole program up from thin air. So, I want to do it again sometime.
I would love to. Thank you so much for being a co-host with me. I remember when Amy told me, like, hey, Jerry, can you do a host for studio with Samuel? And I practically jumped a hole in the air, as we say in the Netherlands, just because I was so happy to do this with you and to get to know you better. So thank you so much for going on this studio journey with me.
Thank you again. Thank you very much. I think we're coming to the wrap of the studio for Hack in the Box Abu Dhabi 2021. Dhillon, one last request.
Man.
I know a lot of our folks have been joining in remotely.
Mm-hmm.
The show's wrapping up, but where can they find the talks, recordings?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Anyway, I'll let you do that, and then Sherry and I are going to wrap up, and we will let you.
I got to get to that other stage over there.
We'll turn you loose.
Do a little bit of a closing note there. So yeah, but so where to find the materials? Yeah, so basically in usual Hack in the Box style, all the videos will be uploaded to YouTube. Traditionally, around a week to 2 weeks after we finish. But it also depends on, whether Cooper's feeling up to it. I mean, he's the guy who records all the videos and does all the post-production, and it's a lot of work to make it look right. And the material. So each presentation that's on the Cyber Week website, if you click on it, maybe not today, but tomorrow or the day after, you'll find that the presentation slides are there. And of course, we'll be tweeting it out as well. So if you're not following us on Twitter, why not? You should be. And that's where you find the links.
And for the YouTube channel, smash that like button.
Yeah, smash that like button.
Smash that like
subscribe
button.
it, yeah. As they say, right? All right, guys.
All right, my
it's
brother.
Been awesome.
Thank you
Yeah.
for being here. Thanks
Thank
for joining
you for taking us
Pleasure.
on this awesome journey in the studio, man. I really appreciate it. Sherry as well.
Pleasure. All
I'll
right.
see you guys